In one of the narrow alleys of Guangzhou, the beating commercial heart of southeast China, works a man named Ilan Li, a quiet craftsman whose hands speak the language of precision and patience. Inside his small workshop, where the scent of iron mingles with the heat of ovens, 11 fellow Chinese workers craft affordable, sturdy barbecue equipment. Simple, reliable, and made to last. 4 years ago, Ilan had what seemed like a crazy idea: to bring a robot into this little workshop. A robotic arm fitted with a high-precision camera, capable of welding every corner of his oven's metal casings with flawless accuracy, tirelessly, endlessly. He dreamed of transforming his humble manual work into production that never sleeps. But that dream collided with reality. Such advanced machines weren't made in China. They had to be imported. And the price? Around $140,000, an impossible sum for a small craftsman. So Ilan set the dream aside, returning to his daily rhythm of work and sparks. Until now. Today, Ilan is finally preparing to buy that same robot, but this time it bears a small mark engraved on its frame. Made in China. The price? Only $40,000, less than a third of what it once was. But Ilan's story is not just about one man's ambition. It mirrors a much larger transformation sweeping across China. As the country faces off with Donald Trump's administration in an economic showdown, it has unveiled an unexpected weapon. Not missiles, not financial tricks, but robots. An army of machines working day and night, reshaping factories and redefining the very soul of Chinese industry. So how did China reach this point? Why did it place its bets on robots as its economic shield? And could it truly emerge victorious in the global race toward automation?
When the magic of machines began. That's what we'll be exploring together today. Human fascination with machines that can perform our tasks swiftly and precisely is nothing new. It began the very moment the world first heard the word robot. That word was coined in 1920 by Czech playwright Karel Čapek, derived from a Czech root meaning drudgery or hard labor. Since then, the word robot has come to describe any machine programmed to perform a sequence of actions or operations with precision. In the 1960s, robotic arms appeared for the first time in European and American factories. At first, they were simple, limited machines, performing repetitive mechanical tasks far from the elegance or dexterity of human hands. But time moved on, and technology advanced. Then came the Great Leap. Between 2000 and 2010, these machines were given eyes, cameras, and onboard computers that allowed them to see, recognize, and track objects, even estimate movement and perform complex acts of perception. From that moment, robots were no longer mere tools following instructions. They became autonomous actors, capable of choosing the most efficient way to complete their assigned tasks. When the West ruled the machines. For decades, the United States and Europe dominated the world of robotics, designing and producing the most advanced high-value models. Meanwhile, China was known as the world's factory, producing vast quantities of low-cost, simple goods that filled global markets. But that image began to change about 20 years ago, when China decided it was time to push beyond mass production and aim for sophistication, especially in the automotive industry. Robots take the wheel. The automotive sector remains the most automation-dependent industry in the world. According to the International Federation of Robotics, it employs roughly 30% of all industrial robots currently operating worldwide. Here's the remarkable part. Most of the car assembly plants built between 2005 and 2025 were constructed in China. Even many of the machines running in factories outside China, especially in the United States, were made in China. This dominance made one thing inevitable. China's manufacturing sector had to level up, to embrace deeper, broader automation. China's grand plan. Beijing has long been determined to accelerate automation, not as a passing modernization trend, but as a national strategy, carefully orchestrated and powered by enormous state investment. The goal is clear: to gradually hand over production from human workers to robots, ensuring China maintains control over its vast, ever-expanding industrial output. At the same time, automation offers a shield against a workforce that is both aging and shrinking as fewer young people choose factory labor. This vision came into sharp focus in 2015 when the Chinese government launched the Made in China 2025 initiative, a plan to move beyond the country's role as a manufacturer of low-tech, low-value goods and transform it into a global powerhouse of innovation, design, and advanced production. The initiative identified 10 key sectors that China aims to dominate in the future. At the top stands information technology, including artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, and smart applications, followed by automation, encompassing robotics in all its diverse forms and functions. After the technology and automation sectors comes green energy, followed by the aerospace industry, then ocean engineering, including advanced shipbuilding, alongside railway equipment manufacturing, the energy sector, new equipment production, pharmaceuticals and medical devices, and finally, agriculture, where China focuses on developing intelligent farming machinery. And I wouldn't be exaggerating if I said that each of these 10 sectors deserves its own dedicated episode to explore the astonishing progress China has achieved in it.
When China bought the secrets of technology. When China entered the field of automation and robotics, it didn't start from scratch. It chose a far smarter path, developing its industrial capabilities domestically while simultaneously acquiring advanced foreign companies and relocating their operations to Chinese soil. So what exactly did China do? Chinese companies would go to Germany or Sweden, purchase firms that manufactured advanced robots, and then move their entire production lines to China. That's exactly what happened with the renowned German company KUKA, one of Europe's oldest and most respected robotics manufacturers, with more than 20 branches worldwide. It was acquired by the Chinese giant Medea Group, listed among the Fortune 500 companies. With that move, China effectively transferred an entire industry from the heart of Europe to within its own borders. Today, the majority of robots and industrial machinery around the world proudly bear the label Made in China. A new era of machine dominance. Take, for instance, the German automotive giant Volkswagen, the world's second-largest car manufacturer. In 2024, it opened the massive electric vehicle factory in Hefei, China. The facility operates with 1,075 robots. How many of those were made outside China? Only one, from Germany. The remaining 1,074 were all made in Shanghai. The dark factory. To grasp just how advanced Chinese factories have become, look no further than Zeekr, the electric vehicle brand owned by China's automotive titan, Geely. In 2021, Zeekr inaugurated its factory in Ningbo, where 500 robots of various types operate with minimal human intervention. In this facility, automated vehicles transport aluminum blocks to the smelting area, then automated lifts raise them into furnaces towering over 6 meters high. There, the aluminum melts and is molded into car components, doors, frames, and essential parts. Next, other automated vehicles carry these parts to the assembly line, where hundreds of robotic arms work in 16 synchronized teams with astonishing precision, welding and assembling each car piece by piece. This section is known as the dark factory. Why that name? Because these robots operate without human supervision, without workers, and without light, completely in the dark. At the end of the assembly line, 12 high-resolution cameras capture detailed images of each completed car, sending them to computers that use artificial intelligence to compare them against a massive database of flawless models. If any defect is detected, the system instantly alerts technicians. The entire inspection takes only a few seconds. Today, the Zeekr plant houses around 820 robots, a 64% increase since its opening just 4 years ago. An army of machines. And it doesn't stop at car factories. China now has more industrial robots than the United States, Germany, and Japan combined. Altogether, more than 250,000 industrial robots are currently operating in China. But the revolution goes further still. Even small workshops and modest local factories across China are beginning to integrate robots into their production lines. According to Yum Mu, founder and CEO of Yum Mu Intelligent Manufacturing, one of China's largest humanoid robot producers, China is working to transform robotics in all its forms into an entirely new global economic sector. Investment without limits. China continues to pour enormous investments in robotics and automation. The latest evidence came just last month, when the National Development and Reform Commission, the country's top economic planning body, announced the creation of a $137 billion national fund dedicated to investing in advanced technologies, particularly robotics and artificial intelligence. And that's not all. Over the past 4 years alone, Chinese state-owned banks have injected nearly $2 trillion into manufacturers, funding the construction of new factories and the modernization of existing ones.
Education, the fuel of the future. You might wonder, who's actually building and programming all these robots, if not robots themselves? The answer is simple: human minds. China is investing massively in technical and engineering education. To put it in perspective, Chinese universities now graduate around 350,000 mechanical engineers every year, in addition to hundreds of thousands of skilled technicians, electricians, welders, and more. By comparison, all US universities combined produce about 45,000 mechanical engineers annually, barely 20% of China's output. See the gap? The race toward the humanoid age. China's ambitions don't stop with industrial robots. They extend to humanoid robots. For decades, technology couldn't replicate even the simplest human movements. Walking, arm motions, and mimicking human thought was out of reach entirely. But over the past 5 years, that reality has changed dramatically thanks to the rise of artificial intelligence. And while Elon Musk continues developing his long-term humanoid project, the Optimus Tesla bot, China has entered the humanoid race with remarkable speed. Just 3 weeks ago, on April 19, Beijing municipality hosted a marathon in a tech park on the outskirts of the capital. It featured 12,000 human runners and 20 humanoid robots. Out of the 20, 6 successfully completed the more than 21-kilometer race, a staggering distance for machines. But the event itself was enough to capture global attention and highlight China's bold ambitions in this emerging market. We're talking about a field that major global investors see as a future gold mine. Goldman Sachs estimates that the humanoid robot market will reach $200 billion by 2035, while Citigroup predicts global sales will soar to $7 trillion by 2050. Bank of America predicts that by 2060, there will be 3 billion humanoid robots worldwide, roughly 1 robot for every 3 people. All these financial institutions and investment banks, most of them American, believe that China will dominate this market. Even Elon Musk sees Tesla as a major player, yet he acknowledges that Chinese companies will occupy global ranks 2 through 10, a clear signal of China's rapid advancement and growing dominance. These forecasts aren't random guesses. They are based on clear observations of Chinese companies going all in on this market. Take Unitree Robotics, for example, a Chinese startup that recently developed the world's first robot capable of performing certain complex martial arts movements. The Chinese government sees this company, along with DeepSeek, as a rising star in its tech sector. Then there's Agibot, which has drawn investments from BYD, China's electric vehicle giant, and tech giants like Tencent. Uptick Robotics, which manufactures humanoid robots priced at $70,000 each, expects to sell 500 to 1,000 units this year and over 10,000 by 2027. And of course, the crown jewel of Chinese tech, Huawei, also has ambitious plans to enter this market. Despite all this progress, Chinese factories still employ large numbers of human workers, including at Zeekr's plants. Why? Because some tasks, especially in car manufacturing, still require fine manual skills, like assembling intricate electrical components or ensuring flawless paint jobs. Of course, automation is not without its downsides. One of the biggest challenges is that it eliminates large numbers of human jobs,
which has caused concern among many Chinese workers. They worry about losing employment amid this rapid wave of automation. Still, China remains resolute in expanding automation. One reason is its demographic crisis, with birth rates declining for decades. Another factor is the nature of the younger Chinese workforce. Over 65% attend universities or colleges, often avoiding technical or vocational jobs in workshops, factories, and similar fields.